Dan and Linda Kiely from Voxpro.
Hey.
Welcome to Irish Startup TV.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us.
Can you just remind us, we're in Cork, we're not in the Valley right now?
We're in the real city now.
Well, Cork is the Silicon Valley of Europe, so that's what we're trying to promote.
So tell us a little bit about the business. It's firstly, just to describe the office, it really does feel like walking into a Google or a Facebook. It's a really, really nice vibe. People seem really happy. There's a lot of people working here.
Well, we spent an awful lot of time trying to foster this culture that, you know, people feel that they belong at Voxpro. That's one of our core values, and we really want them to be happy in their work environment. So we believe totally in spending the money to create that value.
Well, you've hit it in spades. It's a wonderful community feeling as soon as I walk into the building.
Well, we like to describe ourselves as a family of 951 at this point in time. And growing. And it's well known that we Cork will always be our international HQ, and we have plans to scale out our family here to 1,500 people over the short term.
Wow. So just for anybody watching that maybe hadn't heard of Voxpro before, could you explain what the business is and what it does?
Well, we partner with some of the most incredible brands in the world, brands that are truly changing the world, like Google, Airbnb, Nest, Stripe, Etsy, Redbubble, and they outsource their customer experience and their technical support. And we support 15 different languages across the entire company in Cork and in Dublin.
Wow, that's an incredible thing. Where did you grow from? Where did you come from?
That's the secret sauce.
That's the secret. Brilliant. That's an incredible success story.
Many years ago, we decided to take the leap of faith, and we bought a paging company. But in actual fact, we were buying an opportunity because paging was dying. So we were buying the client base. So from that day to this, we've been evolving and staying ahead of the jump pretty much. You're watching trends. So we are
Absolutely.
The face of the customer and our client. And
the customer's customer.
And the customer's customer. So we really...
yeah, you're really at the front line there.
We are.
Yeah.
And the book really starts with you guys.
Yeah, it's like, you know, somebody asked me there recently where the business is going to be in 5 years' time, and you've got to look at, you know, where artificial intelligence is at right now. So do I believe that there will be robots in the workplace in 5 years' time? Absolutely. Because if you don't embrace that embrace technology will eat you up. So we're already looking at what Voxpro is going to look like in 5 years' time, and that's been one of the reasons that we have transitioned from a very small paging company with 6 people to an outsourcing company employing 951. Is that word that Linda just used, evolve and reinvent, and also maintaining the startup culture. We've very much, even though we have scaled, the startup culture is very much part of our DNA and will continue to be as we scale globally.
Because you were very much a startup, you saw an opportunity in a dying industry. You mentioned that you bought up the contact book.
Yeah.
But then a lot changed. Everything kind of changed dramatically in 2007. So did that have an impact on your business?
Obviously, yeah. Very big, like everybody else.
Yeah.
You know, banks were closed for business and we were growing, so you know, you certainly think on your feet.
Yeah. Were there any particular challenges that you faced?
Every day, I'd say.
Really? Every day? Yeah. How did you keep going?
Sometimes we look back and wonder how we managed to actually scale a company to the size we are during one of the worst recessions the world had ever seen, and as Linda said, when the banks had literally the credit had dried up. And I think it's just, Linda and I always believed that failure was never going to be an option, and so one of the things we were both determined we were not going to do was give away any equity or skin in the game, and we've reached a point where we're going to our turnover is going to go to 36 million this year, and we've retained 100% of the equity. Now, that doesn't mean into the future, as we scale globally, that's going to change. It most certainly will, but it will be a decision that we will have made strategically rather than being forced to because credit had evaporated.
I gotta ask you a difficult question. Were there ever dark days that you said, I'm just gonna give up?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I think one of the things that one of the memories I had was I had an incredible opportunity to go to Stanford University to do a course out there for
Leadership for Growth.
Leadership for Growth, and the night before I went, the bank phoned me and said that we're not going to pay the wages on Monday. So I really believe that if I hadn't gone, we wouldn't be in business today. I went there, and Linda dealt with the banks, managed to successfully persuade them to actually pay the month's wages.
It's a team effort.
Yeah, exactly. And more importantly, I learned from some of the most amazing entrepreneurs and business people out in Stanford about how you deal with dark times like this. So I came back totally transformed in terms of it just really was the point. And if I hadn't gone, I wonder. But anyway,
really?
that was a.
I was wearing my high heels. Positivity. Like I went in with 4 accountants.
Wow.
So.
But thank you, Francie.
To be there at 7 o'clock on a Friday speaks volumes. And they
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. And it was a very tough time. And thank you for answering that question. And the reason I asked it was because I'm seeing a lot of growth. I'm seeing a lot of buzz. We've got the Startup Ireland gathering coming up. It's all about
fantastic.
It's tremendous and rethinking Ireland 2020. But the reality of it is, as an athlete and as a businessman myself, there are dark times.
Very dark.
And it's great to see from guys and girls like yourselves that
thank you.
It's possible. It's possible to just dig in and crack on.
Yeah, well, failure was never an option. I suppose we are both very positive, and we had a big family to feed here.
Yeah.
So
how many staff had you at that stage?
Hundreds.
Wow. Yeah. And then they all have families, so is that not
absolutely.
Yeah, it's a huge responsibility, as you know. My mother used to teach us, if you don't have the cash, always have the flash.
That's good advice. So, always have mammy on the till as well.
More makeup and slap and
so kind of like
never
just
transferred it to the.
So dress as you mean to go.
Yeah.
And Dan, your experience in Stanford, what was transformational about it?
It was just I met some of the most successful, the founders of some of the most successful businesses in the world came in and came in and talked to us, and they had been through just as dark moments as Linda and I had been, and they talked about how they got through them, and some of the ways that they got through them were really, really very clever and very. But most of all, it showed that all of them showed one single common trait, and that was just utter resilience. So I came away feeling that there is we cannot fail. No, that's in my DNA anyway, because I just don't give up. But just to hear it from people who've gone on to create some of the world's biggest brands, that had dark moments like that was just extraordinary. Besides that, I was in a very incredible environment where I met some of the most amazing Irish entrepreneurs who had started companies, and I was in in an environment where I could turn to and seek advice from them, and which is great. And also, I think for anybody who's interested or wants to start up a business, that one of the things I would suggest is reach out to fellow entrepreneurs, because we are, particularly in Cork, I have to say, Cork people help Cork people, and I love to get involved in helping people and providing. Not that I'm any great mentor, but if I can give advice to people and help people who are starting off their own business, I try to do that.
It's fantastic, not just that validation, but also that it must have been quite challenging that you grow to, or you had already grown the business to a certain scale, and it's kind of like, who do I turn to?
Yeah, I mean,
maybe you have to go overseas to find others that have had that level of exponential growth.
Well, just part was
I've no family still there left.
Okay.
I've none of the family.
Brilliant. So you really put it all on the line. Balls out. Eyeballs out.
Absolutely. And that was all. That has been was one of the reasons we we survived.
Yeah. And Colm Lyon mentioned that he had a very interesting experience at Stanford, that they assigned him a coach when he took a program over there. Were you exposed to executive coaching?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'm a huge fan.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, you know, coaching is something that's still part of my world. On the back of, I'm a great fan of it. On the back of my first experience of coaching was actually through that Stanford experience, and and I hate this expression, SL, senior leadership team.
Sure.
But among a week, I encourage everybody to have two things on a monthly basis: a mentor who's done it before and who's scaled, and equally a coach to help you deliver your own personal goals. So coaching and mentoring is something that I'm a huge fan of.
That's really interesting. I don't come across this too often in Ireland. There's such a clear understanding of the distinction between mentoring and coaching, where a mentor sort of tells you this is how you do it. A coach says you're not going to give up on me, pal.
Exactly.
It's true. And actually somebody outside your own business is usually very, very good for you, because you know you can become all consumed. You know, the BPO industry, and they look at it with a totally different vision. They say, you know, like manufacturing is actually the same. You know, your IP is people. You know, and everything is relative actually, and relatively the same.
And as we opened the interview, you spoke so passionately about creating the environment for your staff, and you really have achieved that. It's just such a wonderful feel to come into the place. It really, it's amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks very much for the kind words. But
we've better chairs than we have at home.
Brilliant. Oh, that's really, really nice. It's really, really awesome. And that is a cultural thing. I think I've experienced this in California. You know, the importance of looking after people. It's the little things sometimes.
It is.
Yeah, very much so. I think what Linda and I are trying to create here is a family feel. And you know, and that now it's impossible to know everybody's name when you reach 1,000 people, but like a smile and
the human things,
asking, inquiring about what's important, what makes people tick. I mean,
knowing what's happening.
Exactly. I mean, we're very passionate about, you know. I mean, you know, that I hate titles like CEOs, vice president. I mean, I'm just Dan, and Linda's just Linda, and we spend you know, I mean, one of our challenges will be when we open up operation centres in different parts of the world. Is trying to.
How do you scale Dan and Linda? That's not easy.
They have to get a robot to do
But it's very much true that cultural, and you steer the ship in a certain cultural way, and then it can grow that way.
Well, our next operation centre now is going to be in the west coast of the US. We already have a sales and marketing office there, and Linda and I will spend a number of months there trying to create
your stamp.
Exactly, and like putting our DNA into but equally bringing the next leaders that are within the family here, and giving them the opportunity to be able to do something amazing out in Silicon Valley.
We'll extend our reach from within here.
Brilliant.
You know.
Yeah.
So
basically,
a huge
that culture.
Yeah. And the age demographic is absolutely fantastic. They will love to travel.
Yeah, no, that's fantastic. And I hear a lot of different accents already.
Oh yeah, it's like a melting pot of
culture,
culture, different nationalities, which is fantastic, you know.
Super. Well, thanks so much for your time.
Thank you very much for your
pleasure.
As a closing statement of inspiration to perhaps young entrepreneurs that we've heard, never give up. Failure is not an option. Resilience. What would you say to young people starting out again today?
Flexibility is everything, you know.
Iteration.
Indeed.
Would you do anything differently?
Absolutely not.
Really?
No.
Linda?
I would actually.
Okay.
Yeah. I think, you know, when we were a fledgling company, we didn't have the foresight to hire the expertise that we needed soon enough, which would have made much less pain.
It'd be difficult to let go though.
Yeah, but you know, we really kind of skidded up along.
Okay.
And you think you can't afford the key hire, but in actual fact you can't afford not to.
It goes back to the mentoring piece.
Yeah.
Find great mentors.
Yeah.
Absolutely, and you'd be amazed by the I've been amazed at the some of the people who I've reached out to and asked them to mentor me, and they said yes, and I'm like, okay, did he really come back and say that he's going to give me an hour of his time a month? So I would say, I mean, like if you're looking for a mentor, aim to pick the person that you admire most from a business point of view, and go and reach out to them. You'd be surprised at how generous people are with their time. In terms of what advice would I give to entrepreneurs, would be or anybody who's going to start up in business, would be obviously this is a cliche. I mean, like, failure is a badge of honour down in the West Coast and in the US. In Ireland, that's now becoming a reality. Yeah,
it's not easy though. Irish people have this, oh, you're failed, but the reality of it is you train to failure in sport. You won't get let home from a training session in a rugby club or a GAA club if you don't train to failure.
I think exactly, and it's becoming more of a reality now in Ireland that people admire people who take a chance, who take risks. Mightn't work out the first time, but the second time, the third time, you'll get there.
There's still a big penalty to pay though when you fail. So we've seen it happen to everybody, as you know.
It's not easy.
Not at all. No.
But you just got to crack on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Linda and Dan Kiely, it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Great to meet you.
Thank you.